James Held at IFL TV in association with MTK Global. With me, I've got the main man, Steve Lillis. We're here on Ellen Road. Didn't know he was a Leeds fan, Steve.
I'm not. I'm a Fulham fan. I've got no time for Leeds whatsoever. I'm a Fulham fan. I was here early in the season and we drew. Should have won the game, but there you go.
Yeah.
We never. Now they're going to go up and we're not. Because we spent no money in the transfer window. We're gutted.
Let's talk about the reason we're here. The Leeds Warrior, or Warriors.
Plural. You got to use, yeah.
Plural. Nicola Adams joining the campaign that is the Leeds Warriors. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on.
There's a lot going on in this city. Years ago, back in the 90s, 80s, 90s, Henry Wharton did very well in the city. He was from York. He used to come and fight in Leeds here in the late 80s, early 90s it would have been. And he fought at Leeds Town Hall, an incredible atmosphere used to be in Leeds Town. I mean, obviously these two guys in there, Nicola and Josh are past Leeds Town Hall, but what an arena that was. I used to love coming across there. And in the end one day, it got so big, the boxing in Leeds, they come here and did a show with Errol Graham against Frank Grant. And the ring, I was there, was right there. That was where the ring was. They shut off some of this the stadium, about 10,000 in here. As we walked down there to the press conference afterwards. These are the sort of nerdish things I remember. Errol Graham against Frank Grant, and Frank caused a massive upset that night. He was trained in Manchester by Phil Martin, and Henry Wharton was on that bill. I think Nick Manners was on the bill. I think he might have been. I saw him earlier on.
I just had him on, Nick
Manners. Oh, right. He
value.
Works with Josh. Yeah, I know his brother, but a lot better. And it showed that boxing to come here. And then, of course, Henry had a couple of defeats, albeit in fantastic company. And it died a bit until Josh brought it back. And now it's been mushrooming ever since. And the link up with Josh, Nicola, BT, Boxnation, it's going to get even bigger. And if we were back at this ground later in the summer, it would be fantastic, wouldn't it, James?
Incredible.
It would be absolutely, because this place buzzing, and at the moment the city's having a bit of a renaissance sporting-wise. Not just with Josh. The football team are almost certainly going to get in the playoffs, and if they get there, they're one of four that could get promotion back to the Premier League, where I suppose the club belongs, whatever you think of it. And also, boring as it sounds, you've got Leeds Rhinos Rugby League Club could do well this summer. Yorkshire Cricket Club down the road will win the championship most seasons. Don't think they did last year. Middlesex beat them, but it's a sporting city, Leeds, and boxing's a big part of that. And Josh Warrington has been the flag bearer, and now grabbing the other flag is Nicola Adams, who I can't wait to see her turn professional. It's a big move by her, because she could have gone for a third Olympic gold medal. Because in Rio, let's be honest, James, it was so easy for her.
She made it look easy.
She will tell you it was really hard. And it looked so easy. So there's nothing I can see that would stop her going and winning a third gold medal and make him even more useful. But she's going professional. She could most I think it's Jessica Chavez is the women's WBC flyweight champion. She could quite possibly beat her in her first fight. But I think Steve Bunce was pointing out last week, Jessica Chavez has had something like 14 10-rounders. So, it would be a big ask for in her first fight, despite what people are saying, because the amateur boxers are much better skilled than the female professionals currently, who haven't had so much of that amateur background. And, the female boxing is going to improve because of this schooling they're having through major competitions. And, of course, Josh Warrington is here, hopefully against Kiko Martinez. What a good fight that will be. Josh would start the favourite, but Kiko's a good name. He's had those fights with Quigg, those fights with Frampton, and one thing Kiko always brings, he tries. He brings so much to the table. He will try, and Josh will have to work to beat him.
I know Josh Warrington seems sick of the Lee Selby question, the whole situation. Do you feel with the change of broadcaster that big fight will be available and will be happening on Boxnation?
Well, I don't know Lee's contract situation. I've read somewhere he's got one more fight left with Sky, and I'm going to say I've no idea if it's true or not. It's just what I've read. So if I'm wrong, before people start screaming at me, you're just saying that to cause trouble. I'm sorry, I don't know. But I've read and heard he's got one more fight left on Sky. I don't know whether that's true or not. If it is only one more fight, there's nothing to stop him after that fight negotiating with whoever he wants to negotiate, be it with Frank Warren and Steve Wood, and Josh Warrington's representatives, whether it wants to be Gary Russell, the WBC is with Hal Heyman, who he's still got, whether it's Abner Mares, Carl Frampton, Leo Santa Cruz. Just going on to Selby, I just hope he deserves a fight very quickly, because what happened to him last week in Vegas was cruel on him, cruel on the Sanigas who were jinxed in Vegas, given what happened with Lee Haskins there.
Yeah, we were there for that.
Before we start talking of Selby against Josh, let's hope he can get a fight and earn some money.
Do you think it was wrong that it was left so late for Selby and his team to be told the news that Johnny Barros isn't going to fight?
Yeah,
he isn't going to come to the scales. The fact that he wasn't there at the press conference probably set
well,
alarm bells.
I wasn't out there, so I don't know the whispers that were going on. But if it was known earlier in the week, there certainly should have been some indication given to the Sanigas why he wasn't there, or even why not look around if there's someone who could jump in at short notice, even in a non-title fight. But I don't know the ins and outs of it, whether it really was that late to start pointing fingers. But did the Sanigas ask why he wasn't at the press conference? What were they told then? When he never showed at the press conference. They're the sort of questions that can be answered. But whether they were told, like I say, I wasn't out there, James, so it's not really one to start pointing fingers. But if it was thought of early in the week, it's not very, someone's got to be blamed for it if that was the case. But I wasn't out there, James.
Also, same bill, Carl Frampton suffering defeat to Leo Santa Cruz in the rematch. How did you score that fight? What was your opinion?
I watched it recorded, so I didn't watch it live. I got up the next morning and I tried to avoid the result, and within 5 minutes I went out of the house and somewhere. It's impossible in this era to avoid the result. I thought Santa Cruz won it by a couple of rounds. Great fight, but what's fantastic for both men, is that so many fighters go through an era in their career where they have no true rivals. They've got a trilogy, and
the rubber match.
Their legacy's growing. They could fight 100 times, it'd be 50-50. I think it's that close between them. And you know what? If I was a boxer, I'd be so jealous of Carl Frampton. He's had them 2 terrific fights with Kiko Martinez. He's had the Quigg rivalry, and now this. He's had 3 big rivalries in his career. How lucky is that?
Credit to his team for making these fights?
Of course, it's credit to his team, to the McGuigans, to him, to the opponents, to what they brought to him. It's fantastic. But what was the great thing? How honest he was in defeat. We just don't see it so often. We see a fight and they've lost by a couple of rounds and they'll try and kid you, I thought I nicked it. There was none of that. Absolutely fantastic. And whether we can get the 3rd fight in Belfast is another matter, because then you're looking in the realms of American TV having to come in the middle of the night, and it costs a lot of money for them to send an army over for boxing at 2 a.m. in the morning. We saw it the last time. I think I can remember doing that when an actual army of American TV producers, cameramen, reporters come over, was when Jeff Lacey fought Joe Calzaghe in March 4, 2006, I think that was. That's the last time I can remember, and they brought an army over, mainly to see Jeff Lacey crowned, and the only person who got a crown in was Jeff Lacey's body from Joe Calzaghe. So you've got to take that into account. How much would American TV, would it cost them to go? Because it's not a sort of fight you could put on American TV 5 o'clock tea time. It's a peak time American fight, and as much as Leo would want to come here, it'd be tough.
Do you think that Leo Santa Cruz and his team, do you feel they need to come to Belfast? The fact that they've got the WBA belt back, there probably is easier options in Abner Mares, who he's already beat.
Yeah, of course, it would be nice if they come to Belfast. I mean, they've had one in his home city, LA, one on, shall we say, neutral territory. There was nothing wrong with the screen, Las Vegas. It was more like being in Belfast than Las Vegas, I'm told the other night, by all you boys that are out there supping Guinness all week. So it'd be nice if he come to Belfast, but there's a lot of offers out there for him. That whether you think the Abner Mares match, again for him, is massive. In LA, that is a hell of a lot. He's been lucky in the sense, like Carl has with rivalries. Leo's had Carl, and he's also had Abner Mares. So there's a lot of fights out there for him. What about this one to keep the peace? They both have an interim fight later this year and meet again this time next year somewhere. I don't know.
Let's sign it. Let's get it done.
Yeah. Maybe have an interim fight each and then both come back.
I'll tell you what, never mind Carl Frampton on fire. Alex Steedman was on fire.
I heard a story about Steedman. I've heard about him nearly missing a fight, and the reason he nearly missed the fight, I called it to my sources. I grasp my sources, and I don't grasp, but I will grasp them this time. Steve Wood and Josh Warrington, that he was on the same flight as them back, and he literally made it with a minute to spare. And the reason being he made it with a minute to spare, Alex Stephen made it with a minute to spare, because after the fight and after everyone had done their work, he went out in Las Vegas all night with James Helder.
I can't possibly comment on that.
True or false?
It could be true. It could be true. I'm not going to lie. On that note, Steve, I know you're going to jog home to Manchester.
I'm running 30 miles.
Probably take you all of an hour. So, yeah, good luck with that, mate, and we'll catch you again soon.